Hello and welcome to The Shift. Today I am with a very good friend and brother, Diego Walsh, someone that I have spent much time with throughout this life experience and someone that I'm very excited for you to meet and hear more about. How's it going, dude?
Great. Good to be here.
Yeah, dude. Really nice to share this space with you. What comes up for you when I ask about the moment or moments in your life that have helped create this shift towards loving awareness?
It's been a journey.
Yeah.
It's been there have been many moments. The first one was, I remember having a conversation with you about awareness and about being in the present moment. And it was a conversation we had during dinner on a Friday night, and I had to work that weekend, and I used to be a soccer coach. So remembering that conversation about being present, I took that and I decided to give it a try that weekend when I was coaching.
Yeah.
And I coached about 3 or 4 games that weekend, and at the end of the weekend, I had realized how many times as I was coaching, my mind would drift out of the games. Realizing that as I was coaching the games, my mind would drift into the future. What am I going to do tonight? Who am I meeting up with?
Yeah.
Things like that. That was the first shift. Just realizing, wow, I am here coaching kids. This is my job, but I'm actually not here. So that was my very first shift. And then from there on, there was just a hunger, to try to understand more about life and more about myself. And it just took a desire that came from within to go on that journey of love and awareness. But that was the beginning. From there on, to me, it was a shift of, okay, if I want to understand life, the nature of reality, if I want to understand who I really am, I can't keep doing the same things over and over. I can't keep living the same way.
Yeah.
So there was a shift to personal growth. There was no more desires of, I want to do this, I want to be this, I want to gain this. It was like, I want to go in, I want to go inside to understand who I am. So from there on, there was just a lot of reading, researching. Most of my day was just me spending time on this journey of trying to understand who I am. And meditation was one of the things that I understood was going to be really helpful. Because if we cannot sit by ourselves and quiet the mind, how can we understand what's really going on if I just continue to have thoughts and thoughts and thoughts? And what is it, 40, 50, 60,000 thoughts we have in one day.
Yeah.
And these thoughts are just, we are not creating these thoughts. These thoughts are just coming on autopilot, on automatic. So that was the first thing I understood. I had to sit and I had to close my eyes and try to quiet my mind to try to understand the nature of reality. And that was my kind of the second shift, I would say, because that took me in on a journey inward. And with meditation, a couple things happened. The first one was I started to notice if I meditated 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes every morning, I noticed a big shift in concentration. I was much more concentrated during the day, much sharper, much more present, much more aware. And then as the concentration continues to deepen, you start to observe your thoughts. You start to create a gap in between who you are, this awareness back here, and your thoughts and your memories. And so that was very significant. When that starts to happen, it really changes your life. Because then I wasn't, I wasn't going through the ups and downs of life every single day. I started to notice my thoughts just coming and going, coming and going. So that was the second kind of shift. And I guess now that you start having these experiences, you start to understand life a little bit better. And from there, things just continue to deepen. It just things become a lot more clear. So the understanding that all of us when we were kids, we were programmed, right, by the environment, by our parents, by our friends, by our culture. We were programmed. That information basically came into our subconscious, and now, as we continue to grow, that's the information that we have inside of us to live this life. So we grow up with this perspective that was programmed by other people or by the environment. So things just started to become very clear what the nature of reality is. Why, a person that grows up in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, and a person that walks to the beach with a Speedo and just loves life and adores life because he grew up in that environment. Yeah. And whereas someone that grew up in the deep south of the United States might have a totally different perspective and live in a totally different way of life. So things started to become very clear. And then once there is that understanding of what's really going on in the world and what's really going on inside of me, the things that Jesus talks about and the Buddha talks about, like compassion, compassion for myself, compassion for others, understanding that everybody was programmed differently, everybody grew up differently with a different perspective. So there's, I'm going to argue one thing, you're going to argue something else. Yeah. So there's really no right or wrong. When we say there's really no right or wrong, there's just, people just have different opinions about life. Yeah. So that understanding of having compassion for others, whether, doesn't matter what they believe, having forgiveness, forgiving myself and my past experiences, forgiving others for what they have done. Because again, we're just living in this world with a lot of thoughts during the day that we are not creating. Yeah. They're just being created for us. So a lot of these words, a lot of these things, compassion and forgiveness, really start to make sense. Really start to make sense.
I resonate with that deeply, dude. I resonate with that deeply. What is something, like a certain experience that used to really challenge you or frustrate you, that now you just laugh at?
Man. I mean, nothing really kind of pops to mind, but there's just so many.
Yeah.
You know, like driving, you know, getting stuck in traffic. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, the dishes not being washed.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many the little things that now it's just like you just have to laugh.
Yeah,
like
it's kind of like all these little things that you observe the mind at work, and when you observe the mind at work, you just kind of laugh at them. Yeah, for sure. I can resonate with that. If you could give one book to every person on planet Earth, what would that book be?
Oh, no doubt. The power of now by Eckhart Tolle. Is it Tolle or Tolle?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. I don't think there is a right or wrong.
I don't think there's a right or wrong. That book, as you continue on this path of understanding, it really just kind of puts everything together. And because the message is very clear. You know, if we're not here in the present moment, if I'm talking to you, but I'm thinking of other things, then I'm not really here.
Yeah.
And the things that I'm thinking about are not real, because they either happened in the past, which is great, or they haven't happened. They haven't happened yet, right? So, for me, from my experience, my mind was always in the future, always creating a future that didn't exist, always a hypothetical. Or, you know, I'm a very social person, so it was always like, what am I going to do? What am I doing tomorrow? What am I doing this weekend? What am I going to do next month? And once my awareness shifted to the present moment, you know, everything became very clear. Very clear.
If, last question, if you could leave something with the people watching, something that has really helped guide you on your journey, that you feel could create a space for them and help guide them, what would that thing be?
There's a deep understanding that the mind, right, the egoic mind, is running on autopilot, and the mind is the one that creates the separateness.
Yeah.
It's the one that separates us. It's the one that wants to achieve. It's the one that is expecting. It's the one that judges. So the mind creates creates a sense of separation. Once you go beyond the mind, you understand that we're all one. We all come from the same thing. You know, we might have a different color skin, or we might have different opinions, but if you sit with somebody that you don't know for a little while, with an open mind and an open heart, you will quickly see that you're the same person. So when you go beyond the mind, beyond the ego, there's oneness, and that's when you feel that love towards everybody, that loving awareness towards everyone, because you truly understand the nature of reality, and that's liberating. That's liberating. That's what I wish for everybody.
Yeah. I want to say thank you for the space you've created in my life. You have been, without a doubt, one of my greatest teachers, just from the space you create and the love you give. And I'm just very thankful for you, dude. And I want to let you know that I appreciate you deeply, and I'm really excited to continue sharing this life with you, man.
I appreciate you, Ben. You've been a teacher, a father, a friend. You've created this space for me many, many times, and I'm very grateful that you're in my life, and to be on this journey with you, to continue on this journey with you.
Love you, brother.
Love you too, brother, so much.
Thank you, guys. Infinite love to you all, and yeah, create the space.